Hi everybody, this is Tom from Rocket Restorations, and today we're going to cover cutaway heads and engines. This stuff just absolutely fascinates me. Like I have an engineering mind, I have OCD, and when the factory did stuff like this to show off the engineering that they did, I just think it's so cool. I'm going to show you a couple engines here, going to show you a couple heads, a couple examples, but basically the point of these was to go to car shows and show off the engineering in the inside of their engines. Because, on most new cars, the hood's closed. You can't really see inside of it, and you don't really know what's going on underneath. There's a pretty famous Ford from the 50s where they actually made a car with a fiberglass hood on it. Not fiberglass, plexiglass hood that was clear so you could actually see the motor in it. So they were doing it even back then. I'm going to show you a little earlier head here in a second too. That's really, really cool that I really, really like. That I've had for a while. This one's actually kind of cool. So this one, so Evan owns this one. Evan works here at Rocket, good friend of mine. He's the one who always travels with me on the trips and to the shows and puts up with all my crap and helps me out a lot. He actually bought this at the Spring Fling Car Show from Tony D'Agostino from Tony's Parts. Tony's still, he kind of is semi-retired from Tony's Parts, but, he's still doing his thing. He moved from Delaware out to Oceanside, California. Wouldn't everybody like to go out there? And he actually moved out there. He visited Steve Giuliano's collection, which we're going to get to his cutaway engines here in a little bit. But he visited Steve out in Oceanside and thought it was basically the coolest place ever. And, I can't argue with that. I have a friend who lives down there, visited a bunch of times. It's really, really cool. But he had this one. So I'm not sure if this came off a motor or if it was a standalone. I really don't know. I didn't get much history from Tony on it because Evan bought it. I would have liked to have, but we ended up not getting much information from him. So I kind of like to find out anymore. So I don't know. If Tony watches this YouTube video, I'd love to know more history on this one. He was asking $465 for it, which was a lot, and which is why I didn't buy it right away. But Evan bought it at the end of the show for a bit less. But let's just take a look at this. How cool is this? So the whole center's cut away here. This is a factory Mopar big block head. It is... What's the cast number? I didn't even look at the cast number. I actually don't see a cast number on it, which is interesting. So maybe this is like a prototype or something. I'm going to flip it over and look. We'll get back to that in a second. This has hydraulic rocker arms on it. All the valve springs are chrome to kind of show them off. And they're pretty stiff, so they're factory springs. They actually did chrome on the valves. So those are the exhaust valves, the smaller ones. Those are the intake valves, the bigger ones over there. And then they have the exhaust chamber right there, and they highlight it in red so you can kind of see in there and kind of see the inner workings and kind of see how what stuff's going on in there. You can see right here. So like guys asked me, so when I put exhaust manifolds on in stud kits, which we sell in our eBay store, it's a nut and bolt kit. And does it go into water? Yes, it goes into water. So see right there, there's the end of the stud. That's the stud for the exhaust manifold. The nut bolts on the outside there, and that does go into water. So remember, when you put your studs in for exhaust manifolds, remember to put sealer in there because they will leak. Here's a spark plug hole right here that goes underneath. I'll flip this thing over in a second. Actually has kind of a cool display stand here. Again, I don't know if that's something that was just made. It says K-Line Industries Inc., Holland, Michigan. I kind of wonder if that's a factory, if that's an actual stand that they use there. That would be really neat if it was, because I'm not 100% sure about that. Spark plug hole right there that goes in the middle of the cylinder, red on that side, and then the blue is on the inside right here. Blue means coolant, red means combustion. Oops, I just knocked a piece of paint off. Sorry, Evan. And here's the other side. This is blue right here, so that's intake over there. So I guess blue is intake and coolant, I guess. Yeah, there's definitely water going in there to cool everything. Well, coolant, whatever, you know what I mean. Intake right there. That's the heat crossover right there. That is for, so like on a max wedge block or a Hemi, it doesn't actually have that. But what that does is it shoots exhaust gas up through the top of the intake and around, and it puts direct heat to the choke, so it comes off. So when it's cold, it heats up faster, basically. Those are for. These are floppy right here. Really cool. It says T32 plus on it. I don't know what that means. All right, let's look at the bottom of this thing and see if there's any cast numbers on it, because I probably should have looked before I started the video, but I didn't. There is a casting number there. Very cool. And it's actually kind of an interesting one. So I'll show you. This is really cool. I get to show you something cool here that most people probably don't know. Here's the stands right here. They just went into a head bolt hole there. You can see the valve arrangement right here. Again, intake, exhaust. Intake's always bigger. They're chrome. Well, a couple of them are chrome at least. But very cool. You can kind of see how the head is right there. And here's a casting number. So 240-6516. That's well, I guess it's not the famous, but the well-known 516 head that was used from, I believe, 64, 240s, usually 64 to 66. And what's cool about these is they're actually a closed chamber head. What is a closed chamber head? So basically what that means is the top right here is not open. So see the line right there? That's the line for a head gasket right there. And it goes all the way around there, and there's no combustion chamber there. So in an open chamber head, it's actually open all the way to there, and there's actually combustion there. So what does a closed chamber head do? Well, it gives you a bump in compression. So if there's more area there, you get less compression and less quench when you go up. So you get more power out of a closed chamber head than a open chamber head. But that does raise compression. It can be a little harder to run on pump gas. So there's a lot of reasons to run an open chamber head versus a closed chamber head. So, but a lot of the performance guys like the closed chamber heads to get more performance out of them. The 915 head, that's another very well-known head. That was 67 only, and that's also a closed chamber head. But in that year, they had bigger valves on the 440 HPs. So like the Coronet RT and the 1967 GTX, they actually had bigger valves in there. These, I believe, I should really look this up because I'm probably going to be wrong. I believe these are 188. You know what? I'm going to look this up so I don't mess this up. Okay, we'll see if AI messes up or not. I didn't have this number memorized. So apparently it was 208 for the Magnum 67 head intake. And then on the exhaust, it was 174 on the exhaust on the big one, and then 160 on the small one. So take that for what you will. I probably messed that up. You know, people's favorite thing is to correct me in my videos. I do make mistakes every once in a while. I try to get stuff as correct as I can. So, all right, let me show you this other really cool thing. So a few years ago now, this is probably 10 years ago now, somewhere around there, a good friend of mine, Bob Lindgren, who fortunately has since passed away. I'm still helping the family out. We're actually doing a charger for the family right now. But his dad ran Tico Motors over in Tico, Washington, which is the very eastern side of Washington, right by the Idaho border. And I can't remember how he got a hold of me, but we touched base somehow. Super, super nice guy, but he had a bunch of stuff left over from the dealership, and he was moving from his, longtime home in Tico. He was moving to kind of a more of a retirement home place, and he was kind of losing some room there. And he called, he said, he got a bunch of stuff from the dealer, and he's like, ooh, I have a Hemi cutaway motor. And I was so excited. Like, I've always wanted one. It's like my dream to have one of those. And he didn't really explain what it was, but I went over there. I was all excited. I brought my truck. I was like going to bring it home. And then he brings this out, and it was like, it was a little bit anticlimactic. But this is still cool. So what this is a Hemi head cutaway, but it's a first-gen Hemi. But that's what you want to see. When the Hemi first came out in 51, the Chryslers, that was the first overhead valve motor on a Chrysler. They wanted to show off the cylinder. It's like, and here's what a Hemi cylinder looks like. It's a true round circle with intake on this side, exhaust on this side, and it's a very efficient design. So on the wedge motor we just looked at, they're right here and they're right here, so they kind of have to go above, around, and down. On a Hemi, it's a perfectly hemispherical chamber, so the intake goes in, and then the exhaust goes out. And it's a direct line back and forth, and it's much more efficient. Also, you have the spark plug right in the middle of the cylinder. So again, a very, very efficient design. But, obviously I was a little disappointed when I cut it and it wasn't a complete Hemi cutaway motor, but this thing is still really, really cool, and I really like it. I've treasured this. It's in my, I've got my cabinet of treasures behind my desk. You can see sometimes in the back of my videos when I'm filming myself. I don't usually do that, but sometimes I do. You can see the cabinet where I store this, but it's really cool. Still has the original Autolite spark plug in it. Has the coolant on the inside. They cut away for where the head bolts go through right there, and then you can see the intake and exhaust ports there in blue and red. Very cool. Little cutaway Hemi. They're really, really neat. And then, you know, I'd seen a couple of these before, but I never really knew what they were. But these actually came out with the heads. So when you displayed the heads, these were for like dealerships. So again, you can show off the new Hemi. You know, you can see inside the motor because, you know, hoods are closed. This sign came with it too. So running horses, horsepower, you know, blah, blah, blah. I mean, look at that. There's like a million horses back there or something like that, like an infinite number of horses. But they would display this with the Hemi head in the dealership. Super, super cool. So I wanted to show you a couple others here that's really cool. So this is one that just popped up fairly recently. Jamie from Mega Parts had this motor forever. I visited his place a few years ago and saw this in pieces at his place. And I probably have a picture somewhere from like 10 years ago or something. I don't know, 5-10 years ago, who knows. And wow, look at it now. So Keith from Null Automotive, nice guy. We met at McCacken last year. We actually did a couple lives with him on YouTube a few times. But he actually was the one that got tasked. I can't talk. With restoring the motor, and how cool this ended up. Like, I can't imagine how much time and effort he put into restoring this thing. But look at all the chrome, like the flywheel and the clutch turn with it. Like, you can see the inside of the exhaust manifolds. I mean, like, the cutaway heads are cool, but the engines just completely take it to the next level. So special thanks to Keith, who sent me this video of it running. But how cool is this? So he restored it to exactly how it was on the show circuit, basically. Chrome and everything. And it has an electric motor inside, so you can actually see the motor run. Pistons up and down, valves going up and down, clutch fan going over, flywheel and clutch inside the bell housing with plexiglass. All the painted, you know, ports, so you can kind of see everything, the spark plugs. How cool is that? Super, super cool. I really need to look at this video close and see if it's the same as the head that Evan has. Jamie from Mega Parts, if you're watching this, I'm extremely jealous that you have this motor because it's super, super cool. I've always wanted one of them, and as I'll show you here in a minute, I'll probably never be able to afford one. And make sure you check out his YouTube channel, Null Automotive. He's going to be doing a video on his cutaway motor very soon, which I'm looking forward to watching. Like I said, Keith did a great job on this. It looks fantastic. There's a lot of videos online. It debuted at the Belvedere Mopar happening in Illinois a couple weeks ago, and it is super, super cool. All right, so let me show you. So here's the other cool one. There's a few other cutaways out there. The Don Garlitz Museum has one. If you see the picture right here, he's got a 426 Hemi there, super cool. Tim Wellborn has a couple. He runs the Mopar Museum down in Alabama. He always hosts the Wing Car Group when they do the Talladega trip every year, every 5 years. They always go to Tim Wellborn's museum, which is a fantastic visit. He has a couple of these things too. I think he found one at an auto shop or something. But Steve Giuliano had 3 of these. We had a 440 HP, 446 pack, and a 426 Hemi. And I remember seeing him. I actually got to visit his place in Oceanside, California. So this is a while ago. Steve passed away a few years ago. Meekum sold off his collection in 2019, I think, which is 6 years ago now. Wow, time flies by, and the prices on that memorabilia and the stuff were just insane. But here's a couple of pictures of a couple of his motors. I wish I had better pictures than this, but these are kind of ones that I took off the internet. How cool are these things? But the crazy part is these sold at auction, and look at the prices these things got. Absolutely insane. I mean, everything went crazy with the Giuliano auction, but that like takes it to the next level. It's just absolutely insane. I mean, we're talking, you know, mid 6 figures for these motors. It's just absolutely crazy. All right, well, I think we're gonna wrap this one up. I'd love to be able to show you Jamie from Mega Parts' motor and like take video of it going around, but unfortunately I'm in Washington, he's in Wisconsin. I'm assuming it's back at his place by now. I can't do that, but I just think that's really cool. This is a bit of my collection. Obviously, Evan over there has that cutaway head right there. This is one that I have. This will be a permanent part of my collection. I'll never sell this one. It's just super cool, and I just think it's neat to have. So this is Tom from Rocket Restorations. We appreciate everybody for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon. And look, I know I promised you guys Max Wedge motors this week, and I was going to do it. I had most of it filmed. I was editing it, and then I talked to my friend Scott Smith over in Spokane. He has a bunch of these too. So I think rather than do a Max Wedge ID video, I'm actually going to do like the ultimate Max Wedge video with like heads, intakes, everything, with all the information, stamps, all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. Probably not next weekend, but hopefully the weekend after we'll have that video out.